Justice Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi says while she remains unhappy with the overall performance of the NPA, there's no solid evidence to question the competence of its head in Advocate Shamila Batohi. The comments were made at the International Association of Women Judges Conference, which enters day 2 in Cape Town today. The gathering is focusing on diversity, equality and the fight against gender-based violence. Watching developments for us is our senior reporter, Canny Maphanga, who joins us now from Cape Town, where this is all taking place. And Canny, yesterday we heard how delegates there come from all over the world in a gathering that's at the intersections of leadership, advocacy and jurisprudence.
Indeed, good morning to you, Ayanda, and to the viewers at home. Following yesterday's colourful opening of the International Association of Women Judges Conference here in Cape Town, we expect that all these judges, leaders, legal professionals will get to the heart of the issue of gathering these deliberations and coming up with these various ideas to address the scourge of gender-based violence and femicide. Of course, in the context of South Africa, we know the scourge all too well, and while progressions have been made in legislation and efforts to curb gender-based violence and femicide in the country, there is still quite a challenge in diminishing these crimes in our society, as well as achieving a high conviction rate when it comes to GBV cases, leading to the public perception of South Africa's criminal justice system being harmed in the public space. But of course, we're not alone at this conference. We are joined by many different nations that are holding on to this fight and achieving quite a few, or rather making a few inroads in addressing the scourge of gender-based violence. We are scheduled to start shortly, so I'm going to go straight to these various nations that have been able to achieve some form of change or transformative efforts in addressing the scourge. I think we can start with the nation of Guyana. We have the Chief Justice, Roxanne George. As you can see, Ayanda, this is a woman Chief Justice, quite a progressive move by Guyana there. We can talk a bit about the GBV position that you see in South Africa. We do have the laws, they are there. Of course, there are some that need to be worked on, but our criminal justice system still struggles to respond to this particular scourge. It doesn't inspire confidence in survivors, as well as many victims to come forward and speak about this issue. It also doesn't inspire confidence for people to pursue justice in these issues. I know that Guyana has made some inroads. There are some specialist courts, which South Africa has called for quite some time. Maybe you can talk us through some of those ideas that South Africa can gain from our fellow Caribbeans there.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. In Guyana and indeed throughout the Caribbean, we have, for the most part, and I can really speak for Guyana, specialized domestic violence courts. They are not criminal courts, they are civil courts through which survivors can make applications for protection orders and ancillary orders. But I think what has been critical to our fight, if I might call it that, in relation to domestic violence in particular, is having a system of survivor advocates, allowing persons to support survivors of domestic violence in court, and also sexual abuse. We do have a sexual offences court, and in that regard, I must say we followed South Africa. We did look at your model, and so I think that support mechanism is critical. From the time of reporting, we're engaged with our police officers, our police force. In terms of training, training is critical, and that is what we've embarked on in large measure, along with the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. And that ministry provides the survivor advocates who assist persons to navigate the court system, file their applications, sit with them in court during whether it's a civil matter in the domestic violence courts or in the criminal courts. We have a lot of NGOs who support us, who we partner with. The court system, the Supreme Court of Guyana, partners with a lot of NGOs. And I think that is how we are trying to manage the situation. It is difficult, it's still pervasive, but we have to continue the struggle.
Thank you. And I just want to bring in Justice Nafisa Musa of Nigeria, just to add to those comments from the Chief Justice, stating that Guyana has established a specialized courts to deal with gender-based violence and femicide. What is Nigeria providing in their input towards ending the scourge globally?
Yes, in Guyana too, we have the constitution, we have the criminal laws, criminal courts that are there, and also because of the issue of the violence, there is a deliberate act to form the family courts where violence against children and somehow girls and boys that can be taken to. We also have the VAV court, that is Violence Against Persons Protection Act. So it has been really, kind of established so that such cases can go there, and the others also. The court can give the others to protect their survivors. And also, like for the children, the child rights law, which is an international, it has been, domesticated in Nigeria, is also giving us the rights. I also sit as a family court judge, so we give others to protect the children in case of abuses.
Thank you very much. That was Justice Musa. Let's quickly bring in one of our own judges here at the Free State Division of the High Courts, that is Judge Naidu, that has heard some of those discussions. Of course, Judge Naidu, thank you for joining us. She's from the Free State Division of the High Court in Bloemfontein. You're all too familiar with the GBV cases that are in our criminal justice system, the challenges in getting those successful convictions, the kind of evidence that is required for victims to be successful in securing justice. And we know that we don't have a lot of some of these implementations that other nations are going to be presenting here today. As a judge of the Free State High Court, what input is South Africa making and hoping to take from these other nations at this conference today?
Well, I think it's always been our practice and always been the modus operandi that we communicate, interact with people at a multidisciplinary level, from locally and abroad, so that we develop our best practices. But one must be conscious of the fact that we live under different circumstances. The factors that affect our daily lives are not the same as other countries. So it has to be adapted to suit our conditions. And I think while we have made tremendous inputs, especially with regard to the laws that have been passed, amended, to try and regulate the situation. I think regulation in itself is not sufficient. It's a question of education, it's a question of awareness, and it's a question of getting people to change the mindset. And that is the important thing. And that I find impacts negatively on the good efforts that have been made by the law and the implementation of the law.
All right, thank you very much. That was Judge Naidu of the Free State Division of the High Court, just briefing us on where South Africa can improve in its fight against gender-based violence and femicide. As you can hear behind me, Ayanda, the program is well underway with the first plenary set to start at 9:30 on diversity and inclusion. And of course, we'll be giving you those live visuals as soon as it begins. Over to you in studio.
Right, Canny Maphanga live to us there from Cape Town on day 2 of the International Association of Women Judges Conference. For now, thanks very much indeed.